Okay, we are about to go down. We're about to start our discussion today. Okay, it's about time. It's another episode of Safety Moment with Waliola. And this time around, we'll be having a guest with us. This is actually the first time we'll be having Safety Moment with Waliola on Instagram alone. Yes, and I think we deserve a round of applause. Yeah, thank you. If you can hear me clearly, kindly signify. Mrs. Rookie.s, thanks for joining us today. Mr. Olawale, please kindly come back online. You left. Yes, please kindly come back online. Yeah, Mr. Benga, we accept you to join us live. It's not a problem. We're talking about what concerns everyone, so everyone is invited. So what happened, Mr. Benga, Mr. Olawale?
Oh, sorry, I went to post the link on my WhatsApp. So.
Okay. I thought you could do that without. Though I'm using my system to inform everyone, though, so it's easier for me to do that. So thank you for joining us, Stanislas. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Solomon. Thank you for joining us. We hope to have more of you. We hope to have more of you on the live session with us. I'm not that good with English, so I might be mixing British English, Nigerian English, native English, and Korean English together. Please kindly bear with me. Please. So, Mr. Olawale, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
Yeah, I think you're having some numbers. I particularly as a person, I'm not always moved with numbers. Maybe that's why I've always been consistent. I'm less bothered about number. Even if I don't have anybody on my life, I do my stuff. And after the whole video, it's recorded on Instagram. I can download it.
Yeah.
Then I will share it on my YouTube channel. So I'm not always bothered about number. But notwithstanding, we can still wait for some people to join us. So once they join us, then we continue on this section. So, what do you have for us today? Just an overview.
Yeah, we're just here to discuss on if safety is worth it or not. You know, we have this debate saying, okay, is safety really worth it? Is safety worth the cost and the trouble? So that's basically what we are here to discuss today.
Okay, so there are a lot of things about health and safety generally. Health and safety is very deep when we're talking about health and safety. Recently there have been stories of the recent snake in the toilets, and that is also part of safety issue. Am I very correct?
No, you're right. HSC, health, safety, and environment.
Yes, yeah. So if that is very correct, then definitely it's also span across what we need to discuss today, because I believe that is what is going online now about preventive measures, taking active steps. One thing is that people actually believe that they are safety conscious, but in the actual practice they actually neglect the safety practices, because I believe that safety is something that should be deliberate. Am I correct, sir?
No, sure.
So,
definitely.
Yeah, so safety is something that should be deliberate. So today we'll be talking about the deliberate act of safety. Not just is safety important, because people believe that they are at their best trying to be safe, but in actual practice they are not. So we'll be talking about, is taking deliberate step about safety very important. Am I very correct, sir?
Yeah, you're very correct.
Yeah, thank you. So in a few minutes time we will start, so that at least we can have we have people already waiting. So in 3 minutes time we'll kickstart the program properly. Let me give us a very good song as we continue to wait for others. Can you hear the song?
Sure.
So it's another beautiful episode of Safety Moment with Waliola. where we discuss a lot of safety issues, ranging from old safety, safety at work, safety in the workplace. We discuss safety on the road, pedestrian safety. We discuss about virtually everything that has to do with your safety. And on this episode, we'll be talking generally about the importance on safety, importance of safety generally at work, at home. When they tell you at your workplace to put some safety measures in place, are you deliberate about it? When they tell you to do some things that are safe, are you deliberate about it? Is it important for you to do? What are the consequences of not taking safety actions into place? And that is what we'll be discussing today with my professor in the field, my professional in the field, in person of Mr. Habeeb Olawale. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much.
So I think it is high time we start properly.
Yeah.
I think it's high time we start properly.
Yeah.
So I think, should I do the introduction or you start the introduction, sir?
Sure. No. You should.
I or you?
You should do the introduction. Yeah, do it.
Okay, I think I've one way or the other I've been introducing the topic already. Yeah, so let's do the proper introduction now. I'm trying to go through the draft that you gave me. Yeah, you did a very wonderful job. I must commend you for that. So,
thank you.
The discussion of today, please, everyone, we are going to share you the link for you to invite others. Oh, I don't have the link here. How can I do this? So, I'm going to share my Instagram link with you all for you to send to others to join us live as we discuss about this very important topic. That is my Instagram handle. Please kindly invite others to join us. Send the link. Tell them that we are talking about health and safety as it concerns everyone. So now, today, we'll be talking about safety. I've already made the introduction already. We say thank you, Mr. Solomon. Thank you for the good work, new school professionals. Yeah, we are young professionals actually. I actually, before I used to avoid accepting that I'm a professional, but now I think it's good. It's a good thing for me to be able to do more. So, safety. When we talk about safety is not just about being in a place that is secure, because that is the kind of idea that people are. When you tell them safety, they try to relate it to security, but safety is beyond that. We have safety and security, right? But when we're talking about full health and safety, we are talking about prevention of accidents and promoting a good culture that can lead to higher productivity, that will help you in reducing your cost. There are so many things that can lead to you spending more than necessary. In the industry, for example, let's talk about companies. Most companies, they only look at those things that brings in money. But in health and safety, we are looking at those things that will bring in money, that will make the money to be more fluid, reduce the friction of what can bring in money, and increase the friction of what can take money out. There are so many things that can take money out of someone, especially things that you don't expect. Part of those things are accidents. Part of those things are unsafe practices that focuses on human lives, that focuses on properties. People think we're only concerned about the human. We're also concerned about properties. We are concerned about the equipment at getting that we use at work. We have the human in our home. We have we the family, the father, the mother. We have the kids. We have the siblings. We have parents. The human. We have the equipment. We have the grinder. We have the television. We have the electrical equipment. We have the gas cooker. We have the electric cooker. We have so many equipment in our home that could lead to injuries or hazard or accident to us if we do not take active step to prevent them from doing such. And we have a lot of procedures in our homes too. We have cooking activities, watching the television, taking care of the kids, watching the kids playing, so many things going on in the home. And people most times forget that they need to be deliberate about what can prevent these things from leading to accidents. So bringing all these things together is what we're talking about: health, safety, and environment. I'll be talking mostly focusing on the safety aspect of it, and that is a brief introduction of what we are going to talk about. I'm supposed to spend 15 minutes on this, but we already out of time. I think we are in this 2:13, so I still have like 2 more minutes. So to discuss more about this is to give you an example. There was a particular day that an accident happened in my neighborhood. I used to make use of it, this example, every time. Mr. T Money, thanks for joining us. I used to make use of this example at every time because it's a very important one. A fire accident happened in that house, and everything in the kitchen and some part of the sitting room got burnt. What happened? Their gas cooker got engulfed in fire, and everywhere got burnt. What happened? What led to that? What led to that was the fact that someone somewhere, the father, who could have repaired, there was a leakage around the cylinder. There was a leakage, and they could have repaired the leakage, but they failed to do that. They were trying to manage, as we all do most times. They were trying to manage it because they don't understand what safety really means. They could have repaired or replaced that stuff with maybe nothing less than 1,500 naira, but they kept on managing as we used to manage our gas cooker in our house. Used to manage the electric cooker. That electric cooker that is shocking you. You are receiving a shock is an indication that something is wrong, and a shock from your electrical appliance today can be a fire tomorrow. Is an example, is a sign of an electrical fault. So this father refused to repair, and they were managing until it led to a serious fire that made them to lose not only money, because they actually lost a lot of the gas cooker, the kitchen utensils, everywhere gone burned out. They also lost their mental health state because it actually brought their morale down, and it affected them psychologically. So many people have died as a result of fire accident that could have been prevented. So there is so many things that is attached to health and safety. Having the right knowledge and practicing it actively is a good step to ensuring that we all stay safe. And that is a brief introduction on the first topic of today, on our topic for today, that talks about what is safety. So we have Mr. Solomon Timile. He want to join us now. I think he has something to tell us. Please let us accept him as we wait for our professor, Mr. Habeeb, to continue on today's discussion. So Mr. Olawale, are you there?
Yeah, I'm
no, I mean Mr. Olawale. I think I've tried to I've accepted him in. I don't know. Mr. Olawale, are you there?
Mr. Solomon.
Yeah, I sorry, Mr. Solomon. Sorry. Mr. Solomon, are you there, sir? Hi. I like your smile, oh. Your smile is contagious. Hello, Mr. Solomon. Mr. Solomon, are you there? Can you hear me clearly, sir? I can't hear you clearly. I can't hear you at all.
Yeah,
Mr. Olawale, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear you. Something. Can you hear me?
Okay. Mr. Olawale, can you hear him?
I think his network, he has problem with his network. I think it's coming up.
Okay, so while he tries to address that, Mr. Olawale, talking about our topic for today, we have so many things to discuss actually. Yeah. If you listen to my discussion, I was talking about something relating to losing properties and getting some equipment burnt, which means that there is a cost implication of not being safe. This cost implication of unsafe practices. Can you please elaborate on that? And please, I would like to request, while you do that, I don't want you to limit it to the home, because we live at home. Most people go to work, they go to the market, they go to their shop, on the road, so many places. So can you please generalize it, talk about the home, talk about the shop or organization, and talk about on the market. I think the shop is also covered in the market too and on the road.
Yeah,
Over to you, sir.
yeah. Of course, of course. Thank you very much. You've done like a very elaborate introduction to the topic. You talk about from the example you gave, talking about what happened in your neighborhood, just because of a little or a damaged equipment, they lost the whole entire house and even the equipment, and the effect of the PTSD in the family and the children. So it's very tragic. So the thing is, the cost of not adhering to safety outweighs the cost of you actually being like what you need to spend for you to be safe. So you understand? And
You're very correct. You're very correct.
Maybe because of the situation of the country, it really doesn't look like that for most people. Because I always say that if it costs you, let's say 5 naira, for example, for you to repair a fault in a machine, and you don't spend that 5 naira at that particular time, in 2-3 days, it can even be that day exactly, the machine can break down in total. For example, our motor, our generator, if you refuse to, service the generator, service your vehicle, and maybe it needs oil, then you refuse to give it what it needs. In 2-3 days, with continuous usage, the whole vehicle or the generator can knock, like the way you said. Now the engine stop working. The cost implication for you to get another engine just to replace the old one. Instead of just buying oil of probably 2,000 naira, then you have to buy the whole engine of the vehicle or the whole engine of the generator just to repair what you could have repaired with just 2,000 naira. So the cost implication of safety goes more beyond the cost of buying the parts and all, because there are many losses when it comes to the cost of our equipment. The cost, even sometimes accident leads to death. Accident leads to loss of life. The accident leads to amputation. It leads to injury to the body. Imagine you losing a finger because of you not trying to follow the due process of a system. Then you lose your finger. Nothing in this world can replace any part of the body. Nothing. All they can do is just amend and make it feel okay. So I think one of the crucial points of safety is when you look at it from the cost perspective of it. I used to tell people that yourself should be the main focus. Yourself and your environment and other people around you should be the main focus. So when you think about yourself, when you try to even like yourself, or love yourself enough, you will feel like, okay, I need to be really safe, because small thing can lead to something that you cannot even control. You have just escalate out of nowhere. So safety at home, safety in the market, safety everywhere. Just as little as fire extinguisher could prevent the loss of millions of naira. Loss of millions of naira. We hear news of these days. Osho, the market getting bombed, and people were watching. Nobody could do anything. There's no fire prevention procedure or system in place. And even there's no knowledge of safety. Basically, one of the major problems I think we have in Nigeria is the knowledge gap of safety. So, and that's why I commend you.
Yeah, I think you're very correct, because looking at what you just said now, it means that safety doesn't only apply during the operational aspect. At the design stage, like you mentioned, the issue of the marketplace, it means that because virtually almost all the I can say most of the markets in Lagos State, if a fire should start in a particular shop, almost all the shop will get burnt, because there is no proper design at the design stage of how to place and design buildings, marketplace, so that there will be limitation to the possibilities of fire. Someone is selling akara at one side. At the other side, the other person is selling gas, is filling gas. At the other side, the other person is selling something combustible. So there is no proper alignment. Though in some areas, you see where they are selling clothes, they are all selling clothes. Where they are selling food, they are all selling food. But most times, there's always a mixture. And this is an indication that if a fire should happen, everywhere is packed up, there's lower possibility of we getting. That's why if a fire should happen in any market, almost almost all the shops will get burnt. So it means that there is a high cost implication of not putting safety practices in place. You can continue, sir. Thank you, sir.
So like what you said, it's very, very important. Even the another thing is when they don't put safety in the design state. You know, when you are trying to build a design plan, then you don't put safety in place. We will say, okay, probably the building has lasted for like 10, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. There was no knowledge of safety in place. Fine. What are you doing just to, mitigate the unsafe acts from happening? What are you doing to prevent this accident in place? You can still do something. Because of the safety plan was not there, does not mean there's no hope for safety again. Imagine fire, the way you said it. Fire, even in a place, you mentioned in a place whereby they are selling the same thing throughout, whereby they are selling clothes throughout, or they are selling phones throughout. They are selling combustible materials. Nothing. If one shop is on fire, approximately all that shop just they keep burning because there is no preventive method and there is nothing to even mitigate these issues. So it also goes beyond fire, loss of life. Also look at the Ikoli building, the casualty there, loss of moment life. Look at home, somebody that just a snake bite. Now they lose a mother just because of the snake bite. So and the thing is, one thing that
now, sorry to cut you short. Talking because I want this session to be very interactive so that people will be able to contribute into the discussion. And I think you just mentioned about the snake bite. The story of the snake bite, which is a very pathetic one. One thing about this story of snake bite is that it now appears for it to be a new thing, and that is what we are talking about. Actually, snake bite is not something that is new. Snake bite is something that I think of a snake in the toilet. So I'm talking about the snake in the toilet. Snake in the toilet is not something that is new, but because we are always absent-minded and that level of safety consciousness is not there. Snake in the toilet is what I think of every time I want to enter the toilet, even before this story came in, because we are in the 21st century. We most times use our phone everywhere we are. You agree with me that you as a person, you have sat in the toilet 20-30 minutes pressing your phone? Am I correct?
Definitely. Sure.
Most of us do that, and we forget that snake can actually come in at any point in time. So we do it, and these are the kind of information that we need to learn about. Now we are talking about the design stage. I was thinking of it overnight that at the design stage, when we have our closet, at the other end, it's like a pipeline, right? Mm-hmm. At the other exit, the entry is where we are sitting down. At the other exit that connects to the sockaway, if they can have a kind of a flange, it will be a one-way flange that can only open in one direction. You get what I'm? Only go in one direction. That at the other direction, nothing will come in. If you have that kind of a thing and you flush whatever you are flushing will be able to go, the flange will be able. It's like a simple design. At the edge of that pipe will be like normal plastic, normal thickness that will prevent the flange from popping completely. So if you have that kind of a design, anything you flush will go out. Once everything goes out, it closes up immediately again. So if we can incorporate this in at the design stage, I think it will go a long way in preventing snake or rats from entering our home. In particularly, I've seen a rat enter the home, enter our home through the toilet. I saw it live. So if a big rat can enter, definitely snakes too can enter. So since then I've been very careful, and you know, and it seems like this thing is a new thing. It's not actually a new thing. It's what we should be aware of. And now that it's now viral, I think it's a good point of contact for us to talk about. Over to you, sir. I think Mr. Solomon said he probably likes doing that. I can see it in his eyes. Mr. Solomon is referring to you that you like sitting in the toilet for long. That he's written in your eyes. All right, continue. Back to you. Continue, please.
Back then, our father would take newspaper to the toilet. They will read newspaper for like 30-20 minutes before they even like leave the toilet. So our own generation, all we have to do is just take our phone and they are doing the whole thing in the toilet. So you get
yeah, I think you're very correct.
It's our habit. So we discuss about the cost of safety at home, the cost of safety at the shop, the market, and even on the road also. Safety should be something that you should, the way you said it, you should be deliberate about. You can't joke with it. You cannot leave safety. You cannot give safety a day off. You have to be consistent and you have to be deliberate about it. So, because the cost is something that we all know. See, if you being unsafe is taking lives, taking fathers out of the whole thing, taking mothers out of the whole thing. A friend of mine, I saw him like I think 2 months ago. I was talking to him and my guy we used to play games together, so we operate fast. Now we are like, guy, let's go and play game. I was not even observant. I saw this guy and his thumb finger, like his thumb, is no more there. I asked him that what happened. He said he got caught in a machine they are operating. So I'm like, what did your company do for you? He said they just like paid the medical bills and that's all. So it's so devastating because the fact that this guy would grow old and eventually die with
I think we lost him there. And okay, are you back now? I think we lost you some seconds. You can just take some seconds back and continue.
Okay. So I was talking about my friend that lost his thumb in accident and all. So it's really so devastating, and the way that we don't take safety as serious as we should, and because the cost as is turned in our faces like this, people are losing life on a daily basis. Amputation, blindness, deafness.
Very correct. Yeah, very correct.
Loss of equipment, damage to properties, and the mental health aspect of being unsafe is something that triggers. Now, the whole snake bite now has made everybody alert. You cannot just enter the toilet anyhow again. You are like sitting on the toilet and you're not even comfortable.
Yeah, I think we have Mr. Alfred Ajao. Are you there, sir? If you are here, sir, please kindly indicate so that we can invite you to join us live. Mr. Alfred Ajao is here with us in the building. Mr. Alfred Ajao is here with us in the building. Let's give him a round of applause, sir. If you are here, please kindly indicate so that we can invite you to join us live. All right, continue while we await his response.
I was talking about the PTSD part of safety also.
Please give us the full meaning of the PTSD so that everyone will understand what you mean by PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. When something happens, the effect, the continuous effect of the trauma that the accident or incident caused you, so you can't actually forget about them. You keep them in your part of your mental part of you, and you keep reliving the moment, those sad moments and those trouble moments all over again. So it's really, the cost really is something that we should always be looking out for. The cost of you not being safe is something we should always be looking out for. So it's really very, 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 very important. Yeah.
Okay, I think that is all right.
Yeah. So we can move on to the next one.
Okay. Thank you for that. It was really a very good one. You deserve a round of applause.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Amwil, thank you for joining us. So to continue our discussion today, we will going ahead. Having discussed those that missed the first part, we discussed about what safety really means and understanding the basics of health and safety, why we need to take active steps to ensure that there is a prevention of accident in our homes and to promote a good safety culture. Safety is very wide. There are many aspects to health and safety. We're talking about home safety. We are talking about occupational health and safety. Even in our homes, we have electrical parts, electrical safety. We have can you remind me of, I think, what's happening? Fire safety. Even we have mental health and safety. We have the issue of stress. When our women, when they give birth to their child, there's a stress that is associated with it. There's this kind of disorder that some of them get. I've forgotten the name. There are so many things that are associated with it. You know, taking care of the home, taking care of the kids, attention to the kids, cooking, the family. Everything has its mental health effect. We have food poisoning. We have poisoning. Even apart from food poisoning, we have the normal chemical safety. You know, the chemicals that we have in our homes that a little child could see, and the child who doesn't know anything can take it and take his Fanta or Coke, and it takes it, and you know. We have so many stories like that. We have stories of little kids pouring hot water on their body because they were still at the crawling stage, and the mother carelessly placed hot water somewhere in the electric cooker, and the child, you know, dragged it and they poured on his body. I've seen this myself. It happened to one of my siblings, and you could see that there are so many things that have to do with health and safety. Though he's grown up now, he's a grown up boy now. He's now in the university. But when he was young, when he was still crawling, that happened to him. Even me, something happened to me too when I was young. They were cooking. We went to the village. They were cooking gusi soup, you know, and we were doing this play that we used to play when we were young. That we will carry one leg up. We use our right leg, our right arm to hold our right leg, something like that. Yeah, something like that. So now I was doing it and I slipped right where, you know. It was so funny that I didn't fall down this morning. It wasn't when I got to where that soup is. That was when I now fell down. So many things that happens, you know. So many accidents that happened. There's a picture that once went viral of a little child that was electrocuted by a transformer. A little child that got electrocuted. In fact, the boy couldn't, you know, the transformer held him and he died instantly. So many stories of fire accident. There was a fire accident. So many stories of electrical safety. There was a story of I think last 2 or last 3 weeks. I think AfriSafe Award, the night of AfriSafe Award. I got a news of someone. Of a lady who got electrocuted in his home, inside his home, because of a poor current that was delivered, and that's why happened to be. Don't worry, I won't go in details about that. So what I'm saying is that there are so many practices that we do in our home that if we are not aware that there's something that is called deliberate safety, when we put those things in place, it affects us. Even aside from what we're talking about now, there's what we call psychological safety. You know, safety is very wide, and this has to do with ability for a kid, for a child, for people to, not only a child, even your wife, your husband, to be able to speak up, show concern, and talk about issues with you. And sometimes our kids see some things that we don't see, but because they are always scared to tell us that this and this is what they are experiencing, we don't create that avenue for them to be able to speak. They end up being victim of unsafe practices and being victim of incident and accident. So safety is very important. We're talking about the financial benefits. The financial benefits cannot be overemphasized. Like my handsome co-host rightly said, he said that the money you are going to spend, in layman terms, the money you are going to spend on safety will not be as much as the money you will spend if there is absence of safety in your life. It gave a lot of examples. How much is the engine oil that you think that you can still manage, and your because you didn't do the right thing, you didn't inspect you didn't inspect them, then the engine got knocked down. I need to buy a new engine. What is the cost of an engine oil, and what's the cost of a new engine? So many things, so many examples that we can relate with. Financially, safety is better. I give an example of an accident that happened, a fire accident that happened in my neighborhood that led to the loss of lot of properties. Lots of properties everywhere got burnt. In the kitchen, everywhere got burnt before we could be able to extinguish the fire, because there was no list, there was no law. In fact, it's not even about now. The number one error was that there was no safety practice. Even as at that, when the accident happened, there was no knowledge of how to extinguish a fire. This section is not about training you on how to extinguish a fire. Maybe on another episode we are going to talk about that. But if you want to know more about how to extinguish a fire, just go to Google and type safety moment with Waliullah. From there, go to my YouTube channel. There are a lot of videos there that you will see. And if you feel like you want to subscribe, yeah, you can subscribe. But I actually wanted to subscribe anyway. So where I'm going to is that there was no knowledge. This man used the wrong method. When they saw the fire coming from a gas, the next thing they did was to pour water. You don't pour water on gas cylinder. Yes, you don't pour. Yeah, we have our boss here. We've been expecting you, sir, Mr. Alfred Ajao. We've been expecting you. We saw you that you came online the other time, and we called you out. So I wanted to join us live. Please, if you can join us live. I think you said something now, fabric major. I know you have a lot of things to say to us today, please, sir. Please, we humbly request that you join us on the live session. Just request and we will grant you, sir. We want you to tell us about what you just said so that we will learn from your ocean of knowledge. Mr. Alfred Ajao, please, we are waiting for you to join us live. We can't wait to have you live, sir. Mr. Alfred Ajao, please kindly send the request. We are waiting, sir. Mr. Alfred Ajao, I believe that you are still online. Yeah, I can see that you're online. Mr. Alfred Ajao, please join us live. Go live. I'm going live with you now, sir. Mr. Alfred Ajao, I think he's busy, so I know he's going to join us. He has always been joining us live. We appreciate him. He's one of those safety expert that we have in the country that has always supported with the young ones and is always available for every webinar, every seminar, every live show. Is always there to share us up. Even if you don't have anybody viewing you live, he's always there to come and view you, and we appreciate that, sir. So let's continue with what you're saying. So they lost a lot of property because they didn't have the knowledge of how to extinguish a fire. That is why knowledge is very important. We need to be deliberate about safety practices. There are so many aspects of safety that we can go to, but we don't want to bother with every aspect of safety. But getting the right knowledge is a step to being safety conscious. Importance of safety, financial wise, you and I, we agree that financially the cost of a fire extinguisher will be nothing compared to the cost of your house getting burnt. We've all seen the consequences of fire accidents. Fire accident that could have been prevented minimally with a little thing, with a little knowledge, or with a little item. With now, for example, you start observing that your cable start melting. You are seeing signs of melting on your cable, and instead of replacing the cable, you're seeing signs of overheating on your electrical appliance. Instead of going to repair them, you decide to remain unsafe. And a good example of this unsafe practice that we are talking about is if you look at when you're talking about the moral reason. Look at our public transport system in Nigeria, for example. When you look at our downfalls, our coastal bus, all these are public transport, you see that they don't give a damn about that we are entering the bus. They don't give a damn. They don't care. What they're after is their money. They know that whether they take care of the vehicle or not, because there's no system in place. What NERTW knows how to do, all those road transport workers, all those people that collect money, all those touts, the only thing they know how to do is to collect money. There's no system in place to checkmate the safety of the bus, the transport buses. There was a time that they will say if your exhaust system is too dark, they would road safety would take you. But now it's nothing. Most times there is always one issue or the other for every bus that you take. Now it is, if someone is morally in his right senses, you understand that the life of human is more important than that car or than that vehicle or that bus that's on the road. If he has that moral justification to understand that the lives of people are more valuable, the time of people are more valuable, people have where they are going to early in the morning, the person will take his time to make sure that his vehicle is always in a good condition before he takes it out for his business. But most times you see these public transport drivers, they know that the vehicle is bad, and they will deliberately load it with passengers. They will collect their money. They will collect the money before leaving the garage, and few distance the vehicle will get knocked down, and everybody will now be in a state of chaos. Those who are in a hurry to an interview, to a project meeting, to their workplace, will get stranded. Most time we've seen issues of overeating in their vehicles, where fire starts popping up. We've seen issues of the exhaust. Instead of the exhaust should be going outside, the exhaust will be inside the bus, and everybody will get choked. So these are unsafe practices. But if such people, if they understand the moral benefit, that it is morally right, but because they are in a state where there's no competition, whether we like it or not, if they park their bus at the garage, they will always see passengers. Yes, because that is assuming we have a lot of private, assuming we have government-owned public transport system, like we have more BRT, more buses available. They will, that sense of competition will be there, and they want to do better. But there's no competition, and that's why they behave in that manner. So morally, we know that it is normal to be human, to think about how people can be saved. It is normal moral right to see your electrical appliance, that this electrical appliance is giving shock. People are getting shocked when they touch it. Your electric cooker, most of us, our electrical at home is giving us shock. Instead of us to go and repair it, we keep managing it. It is morally right for us to go and repair it, because one day that shock will be much more serious and will lead to greater consequence if we do not do the right thing. Then the last one, talk about legal benefits. Talking about the legal right, I think it is more applicable in the workplace. I don't think there is I haven't seen it in Nigeria anyway, where there are laws that guide, unless in the is it criminal law? There are two common law. Maybe in the common law, maybe in the common law that talks about maybe you doing something that is unsafe that lets another person get an accident. For example, if there's an accident now, if there's an accident, maybe a car accident, maybe in a public transport system like a bus. Now you went to garage to take a bus, and you were driving, and there was an accident. I don't think there's any law in Nigeria for now that will prosecute the driver for the accident, because the driver also got involved in the accident. I don't think maybe there's any kind of law. Only if it is frequent. Even if there is, I don't think it's been implemented. It can just be on paper. I know in developed countries they can sue you for little things. I think that one can still go a long way. So when you're talking about the legal part, is at the workplace, if someone should get involved in an accident in your workplace, or someone get injured in your workplace, and you are in a sane country, it's the law will owe you into ransom. So it's part of the legal benefit is that you should be aware that if you do not put deliberate step, because it's the responsibility of an employer to provide a safe working environment for the workers. Again, it is the responsibility of the workforce of the employer to provide a safe working environment. I have Mrs. Bumi Jasmine Omeke. We have you here. Thank you for joining us. We request that you also join us live. We love to see you live. We have Mr. Ayuba Lubumoni, my guy. I have you here. It's nice to see you guys. Mr. Linguist Sam, it's nice to have you. Adumaradon Glow. Okay. I know you very well. You've always been present. It's nice to see you here. Official Wiz, it's nice to have you here. GY Luxury, it's nice to have you here. Mr. Ajao, nice to see you here. Omalaji, we have a lot of them here. I'm Will, Jeff, G Money, we have a lot of you here. I am Midi, I am Saba, Mr. Solomon, everyone, it's nice to have everyone here. Keep liking our live. Please keep clicking on the like, so that we will know that you are listening to us. Miss Aisha, thank you for joining us. So as we're saying, we're talking about the legal benefit. The legal benefit is that if you do unsafe practices and it leads to an accident, or it leads to an injury, amputation, of whatever case it may be, to someone else, you will be legally detained. The hand of the law will come across to you, especially when you do it deliberately. So for you to avoid what can lead to you being prosecuted in the law, for you to avoid what can lead to you getting involved in legal issues, it is best for you to make sure that you take active steps to prevent accidents from happening in your home. It is very important. There are so many ways that, for example, in our home, that accident can happen. So many ways. We've listed a lot of them. We have issues of slip, trip, and fall hazards in the home. Something as simple as cleaning your. Oh, Mrs. Bumi said is in traffic. Shuki, he said, Virgin K, thanks for coming. So we have something as simple as slip, trip, and fall hazard, where people get falls down. Maybe water got splitted on the floor, and you fail to train your kids about safety, that they need to clean every water, and you are walking and you slid on it and you fall, and unfortunately your head hit the table or your head hit something else, and from there you collapsed. Now the trauma for the family will be there, right? The trauma for the family will be there, that their dad is not feeling fine, or their mom is not feeling fine, or their mom got involved in a home accident. Secondly, the pain, you will go through pain. That is where the moral part comes into play. It is morally right for you to be safe, because when you don't do that, the consequences are, the pain is very severe. You go through the pain yourself, then you go to the hospital, you pay for medical bills, you stay away from work, maybe 5 days, 6 days, you lose money, except if you are working in a good company that they understand that you are sick. You get. So there are so many things that has to do with it. At the end of the day, you are the one that is losing. Now, what could have happened is for you to have called your kids together and trained them and made it a point of awareness for them that anytime they pour water on the ground, they should clean it. That was the only thing that it could have cost you. But because you failed to train your kids about deliberate safety, you became the victim of that. So it means that there is always a moral benefit to safety and financial benefit, because you actually lost money. Apart from the money that you lose to medical bills, the money you will lose to getting drugs, getting treated, the time that you spend in the hospital instead of being at work, you've already lost money too. So financially, you are reducing your financial ability. And so most times, people that get involved in serious accidents, they don't become their same person again. Most people that get involved in accidents, they don't become their same person again. Some of them will become, exactly if it's car accident, serious accident, some will become permanently disabled. Some will become paralyzed. Some it can be back pain, and they won't be able to walk again. Such people will not be able to earn their money the way they earned it before. Yes, it will take time for them to become their normal self, and that alone is a long-term loss, financial loss. So it goes a long way. We don't want to start mentioning the various areas. What we are trying to talk here is general health and safety. What is safety? Is safety really important? Is taking deliberate safety act really important? And we believe that from what we've been discussing so far, you will agree with us that safety is actually very important. Assuming we are in a country that there is strong legal action taken on unsafe practices, to the extent of even in our community. Like, for example, I gave a story of a boy that got electrocuted by a transformer. A little boy. The boy knows nothing. The transformer was naked. The transformer was exposed. Assuming there was something as simple as a guard, the boy would have been a victim. If it's in the same country and that happened to the child of of someone who understands the law, he can sue the community, he can sue the leaders of the community to the court for exposing the transformer. Yes, it's something that should be done. So what we are saying here is that there's a legal benefit when you put, so that you will prevent yourself from being victim of legal prosecution. And I think for now we have actually illustrated how important safety can be. So we'll be going on to the next discussion of the day. If you have any question, any comment, please kindly drop it in the comment section. Mrs. Bumi said he's in traffic, he can't join us live. Okay, understandable. Thank you, Mr. Lubumoni. Thank you, we are doing a good job. My colleague too is also doing a very great work, because he's one that outlined our procedures for today. I'm always very lazy. Actually, I'm always very lazy when it comes to drafting. Even what me and Mrs. Bumi Omeke, what we do every 2 weeks, mental health and safety. I must confess that she has been the one that has been drafting the procedures, the outline of the program. She has always been the one. I'm always very lazy doing that anyway. Maybe because we are all busy, so there's no justification for me. Maybe I'll try to learn that from you people. So we are all doing a great job. Thank you very much, Mr. Lubumoni. So going to the next discussion, Mr. Habeeb.
Yeah.
Why is it that we've talked about a lot of importance. Thank you, Mrs. Bumi. Well done, my safety partner. Okay, we've talked about the cost of unsafe practices. We've talked about what safety really means. We've talked about the importance of health and safety. We've discussed about financial benefit, moral benefit, legal benefit. Even with all the discussion, people still find safety very difficult. They find it very difficult to practice. They find it very difficult to do. They believe that they have an immune system. They have immune system from God that automatically get them away from accident. So why is it that even with all this, people still find it difficult to practice safety? Thank you. Over to you, sir.
All right. I will say they all will have cut everything. Like, the reason I think people find practicing or implementing safety difficult is because of the knowledge gap. There's a big knowledge gap, and when you rank it, we talk about one being the cost. So people look at the cost of practicing safety. Another thing is their belief and their culture. Belief and culture is also something that drives the way people, how they see things and how they behave. Another thing that makes people not practice safety the way I feel like it's supposed to be practiced is also the system. When I say system, I'm talking about, for example, the workplace, for example, the home you find yourself, and also Nigeria as a whole. You mentioned something on legal practices and how things are done in the advanced country and how things are done in the same system. You understand? So looking at it from the cost, people have this ideology that safety is expensive. They have this ideology that they can bypass safety. They look at the cost and they feel like, okay, why should I buy a fire extinguisher in my house that I won't probably use for a year? They will ask you that I've bought this fire extinguisher for 6 months and I had no fire accident in my car. Why do I need to, reservice the extinguisher? They will ask you, the way they look at it, they feel like the cost of practicing safety is unreasonable. You understand? So but when you compare the cost of you putting protective measures or preventive measures in place or mitigating measures in place compared to the cost you will incur by the time this accident happens, then you understand that the cost of safety is just a tip of the iceberg of the whole cost you actually incur by the time you are facing accident. Imagine a fire extinguisher of, this little amount, comparing the price to the price of your whole entire building. Do you understand me? Like, now because of a fire accident, you can lose your entire business, your whole capital, your whole profit in a shop. You are losing it just because you choose not to purchase as little as a fire alarm, as little as a fire extinguisher in your shop, in your house, in your home, in your work, everything. So you understand. So one major problem that I see that people have is the cost. Secondly, there's this problem of belief and culture. So you will hear people hear people tell you that I'm covered in the blood of Jesus. Nothing will do me. Nothing. Jesus in my back. Jesus in my back. I'm covered with the blood of Jesus. You hear people tell you that as long as I have my rosary on me, as long as I have my, I don't know, there's drill or anything they call it on me, nothing can happen to me. So this belief, this culture is one of the major problems that we are facing when it comes to implementing safety. One of the sites I was managing, then I saw a worker and I'm trying to like talk to him about the use of coverall in his work. He told me that in Yoruba, he said, that we are working. I'm like, yes, fine, we are working. Are you supposed to put yourself in danger because you are working? You know, people have this mentality that because it is work, so I have to protect it. I don't know if you get the point. Like
I get it very well.
The job they are doing, they are painters, you know, and they came to site with short leaves. Then all their hands is exposed to a drop of chemicals. I'm talking to them that, guys, you need a coverall. At least you can't get a coverall. You get a long sleeve for you to work. He's telling me that because the painter, it has to show all over his body. The paint has to drop all over his body just for them to like see that yes, I'm truly working. Then I look at it like this is the culture. This is how they think. This is what they feel is right. So one of the problems when I look at
Sorry, Miss Bumi, are you there? I think
yes,
we have Miss Bumi online with us. Yeah, I think you wanted to say something because my colleague is actually handling the discussion of why people think safety is very difficult, and you mentioned some things like lack of understanding of the cost and benefit of safety practices, poverty mentality, and illiteracy. Can you kindly please briefly elaborate on that? Why before my colleague continue on the discussion? Thank you.
Okay. Talking about, sorry, I'm outside, so I have to use my face mask. Okay, so talking about lack of understanding of the cost and benefits. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Talking about that, just like what he was trying to say, I heard some aspect of what he was saying, even though I didn't hear all. So I heard the part where he was talking about the fact that people look at the cost of fire extinguisher without looking at the cost if a fire incident happens and there's no fire extinguisher. So lack of understanding the relationship of those two costs. What is the cost them if something happens and they don't have the right safety precautions available to take care of the situation? Without looking at that, they're looking at the cost of that item, or that's the cost of managing that situation, of creating that safe environment. That is what they are looking at. To me, that's a bit of, without mincing words, it's a bit of understanding of cost and benefits. The benefits of preventing that particular incident or reducing the effect of it ahead. First, lack of that understanding makes people to, not to abide by good safety practices. Then talking about poverty mentality is also related. In this side of the world, I discovered that it's not just not having money, because people will say, oh, there's not enough money in the system. We have to be economical so that we don't spend so much money. So that is the reason why they do certain things. I think more than not having money is a mentality that is a poor mentality, what I call the poverty mentality. Let's take, for example, the building collapse from a layman's point of view. It's just in the quest to make more money at the expense of people's life. Even though I'm not sure what the report is saying, but from the things we've garnered, from what has happened, the fact that it was warned. I'm a bit in the industry. I have some relationship with some construction guys that worked in that place, and some that even signed off. So I've got a little bit of first-hand information of the adamant of the owner or the person who was involved to continue with the work despite the warnings and all that. So would you say that kind of person is poor? He's not poor. He's more like a poor mentality, coming from a poverty mentality, trying to make all the money at the expense of people's life and not minding the repercussions. Talking about illiteracy, of course, ignorance. Ignorance is a serious disease. When people don't understand that, and that's the reason why we have this kind of program, to educate people and to enlighten people's mind, to let people see the picture. This is what will happen if certain things are not put in place. So ignorance is a serious issue. A lot of people are not even aware. They don't even have an awareness of how to manage a certain situation, how to prevent a certain hazard or incident. So lack of that knowledge has also affected people's attitude towards safety. I'll give a very quick example that kind of addresses everything that I just spoke about. When I was in my 200 level, my dad gave me a fire extinguisher to take to school because we didn't have any close to our hostel. You know how our hostels in Nigeria is. So we didn't have those safety extinguisher from his own assessment where they were supposed to be, and he said, well, I should go with this fire extinguisher. Taught me how to use it and all that, and then I placed it in a corner of my room. And when I brought it, my roommate said to me that, is it that you want to put our hostel on fire? This one he came with extinguisher. You want to put our hostel on fire? And guess what? The person who said that, 2 days later, she left something on her camp gas, and the whole hostel was going to be on fire. It was my fire extinguisher that saved the situation. I'm not joking. In fact, if this thing is recorded, if this session is recorded, I can transfer the recorded part of this session to that person just to remind her of what happened on that day. The hostel would have gone on fire. She was the one that left something on fire. It was my fire extinguisher that saved the situation. So thank you for that. So this is what we find. We are just a set of people. How will I put it? We just have this culture generally that we are not preventive in our approach. We always respond. We always react. We are reactive in everything. If you look at the case of like this, I will take it a bit to just explain our culture a bit. In the legal world, when we talk about will, writing a will, I know people have different beliefs when it comes to that, but you see, our response in this part of the world is like when you talk about will to anybody, they'll be like, you want to kill the person, But we've seen a lot of well-known, enlightened men, die without a will, and we see the trouble that they live. They don't take care of that trouble. They are dead. They are long gone in their grave, and they live a lot of trouble just because they refuse to address something that is inevitable. You have to die someday, and you leave properties without, So I don't want us to digress too much. I'm just saying this just to buttress our culture as a people. I think it's just a general culture. Yeah. Exactly. So thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I think he has said a lot of things. So I think sorry for that.
No, it's okay.
You need to continue from where you stopped, please.
He probably sum the whole thing up. He talk about the illiteracy, he talk about the poverty mentality, and everything. That's basically everything I'm trying to say. And the knowledge gap. I told you that there's a knowledge gap between people that really understand what safety is all about. And then I would love to mention is also, the system. When I talk about the system, I'm talking about our country in general. The legal system is a place that we don't have strong legal system. There are people that are checking and balancing and some stuff that supposed to be people. The Factory Act I feel like needs to be reviewed. The policies need to be reviewed, and also there is need for enforcement of all these legal stuff. So the problem is that's one of the problems, right? So I feel if we can tackle the knowledge gap, the literacy, and the culture, our culture in general, because I believe culture is also part of what is affecting us. Like she said, we are always reactive. Instead, it should be proactive, and we're not like delegated when it comes to safety. So that's basically why safety people find safety difficult to practice. But if we can, find a way whereby all these things can be talked about and can be amended, I think the safety of the whole entire country would project to a better level. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much for that. That was really elaborated. Thank you for that.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
you really highlighted the reasons why people still don't want to practice health and safety.
Yeah.
Diabolical reasons, having the belief that you telling them about safety is you are trying to plan an unsafe practice, or you're trying to set their house on fire, for example, or they don't understand the cost-benefit analysis of not putting safety in place, and the kind of system that we operate in Nigeria, it's not really encouraging. In Nigeria we have a good documentation, we have good documentation processes, good documents, good system, good write-ups, policies, act, ISPON Act, Compensation Act, Workers Factory Act. We have a lot of them, but they are really good and really encompassing and really detailed. But when it comes to the implementation, we are far behind normal. So,
yeah,
because part of the reason.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I think we lost
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that you need to have a very separate department, a very separate ministry of safety, or something that has to do with that addresses safety directly, but not under Ministry of Labor and Employment. And I think that is part of the major issues that we have. Another body that should actually also pioneer this when it comes to the safety in Nigeria is ISPON.